Welcome back, everybody, to American Soccer Quick Kicks. I appreciate everyone who took the time to watch my first video. I got a lot of really supporting, positive feedback. I'm recording this on Saturday night, so tomorrow morning, the World Cup is going to kick off between Qatar and Ecuador, which means we're less than 48 hours from the United States' first match. So I'm going to be here with you to kind of walk you through the tournament, at least for as long as the United States is participating in it. One question that I had someone ask me after the first video was, how good is our team? Like, what can we expect realistically for our team to do this year? If I feel like the United States is never really very good at soccer, at least the men's team. And why should I get excited? Why should I invest? What can they do? How well can we expect them to perform in this tournament? So I'm going to try to answer that. But first, I thought I would put in the context of our entire World Cup history. So I'm going to run through that for you real quick. And at the end of it, I'll tell you what I think we should realistically expect from this year's squad and what would constitute a good 2022 World Cup. So the World Cup started in 1930. It's been played every 4 years since then, with the exception of 1942 and 1946 because of World War II. The United States played in the first three World Cups, which was 1934, 38, and 1950. In that 1950 tournament, we shocked the world by upsetting England. We beat England 1-0 in 1950. That remains one of the great sports upsets of any sport in all of history. But then we failed to qualify for the next 40 years. That means there were 9 World Cups played between 1950 and 1990 in which the United States did not participate in it. And the sport was not exactly dormant during those years. We had the North American Soccer League that existed from 1966 to 1984 and really peaked in the late 70s. This is when you had like Pele playing for the New York Cosmos and stuff like that. And but it folded. And it was a league that depended heavily on foreign talent, on imported talent. And the United States national program, still, there wasn't much to speak of. It wasn't very professional. It wasn't highly organized. There was not a lot of investment, not a lot of corporate sponsorship, and there wasn't there was not a serious effort to try to make a push and to be competitive on the world stage. That began to change in 1988 when FIFA made the decision to award the 1994 World Cup to the United States. People thought that was crazy. Why would you do that? There's no way the tournament can succeed in America. Nobody likes it. This was 1988. So it's 4 years since the NASL had folded. There was no professional outdoor league in the United States at this time. There hadn't been for several years. People thought this would be a huge mistake, but FIFA felt like that it was an enormous untapped market. Well, as a part of that pitch, we promised that we would return to top division professional outdoor league play. We would have a league. We would create a league as a part of getting the World Cup. And so they gave it to us. And hosts automatically qualify. So that we knew that we were going to be in the 94 World Cup no matter what happened. However, in 1989, something miraculous happened. We won the essential match that we needed to against Trinidad and Tobago that clinched our berth in the 1990 World Cup. We earned our berth through qualification for 1990. So that was huge. That was important to be able to earn our way in before we hosted it in 94. The team that we sent to Italy that year was basically a college all-star team. We still weren't a very professional national program. And we got roundly defeated. But just the fact that we were able to get there on our own merits was historical. It was an enormous achievement just to be there. And then that was the first of 7 consecutive World Cups that we participated in, because we hosted 94. We played in 98, came in dead last. And then we played in 02, that's 02, 06, 2010, and 2014. And in those 7 tournaments, we advanced out of the group stage 4 times. And that would be 94, 2002, and then 2010 and 2014. And in 2002, I will talk a little bit more about that year in just a second. But what What happened then is that the streak ended because in 2018 we failed to qualify. There's a lot of factors that went into why that failure happened, and I have my own opinions. I can kind of break that down. I'm not going to get into it this time. If anybody asks me, if I get any comments to say, hey, tell us about the failure of 2018, then maybe I can get into it. But I'm going to leave that alone for now. That brings us to our current squad, though. And that failure in 2018 kind of ushered in a youth movement. We got rid of all those players and we looked to this younger crowd that really by age should still be playing at the Olympic level, but they're playing up level now and they're with the senior team. And this is our squad. This is who we are. We actually have the youngest squad in the entire tournament. And the question is, how far can we go with these guys, right? Well, excuse me just a second. I gotta take a drink here. I'm a little dry. First, I want to take you back to 2002. That was our best ever World Cup finish. Not only did we advance into the group stage, we won our group stage. It happened to be against Mexico. That means we reached the quarterfinals of the World Cup. We played Germany, and we should have beaten Germany. There was a bad call. Replays showed the defender used the hand on the goal line. We should have gotten a penalty kick. I believe we deserved to be in the semifinals that year. As it is, we were eliminated in the quarterfinals, and that remains our best World Cup finish in the modern era. And so before anybody else can take the title of best United States team ever away from them, we need to at least reach the quarterfinals. Can our current squad do it? Well, that's the question before us today. I do believe that our collection of players are potentially the best that we've ever had, just because of the club pedigree and the experience they have at the highest levels, Champions League and all that already at their young ages, but they are young. And to use the word potential is a nice way of saying that they haven't done anything yet. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, we have like Christian Pulisic. He's won Champions League, lifted that. But I'm talking about the national team at the World Cup. Until they can get to the quarterfinals, then you can't call them the best. I do believe this is a special group. This core group of players that you can get to know if you decide to invest in watching at least these first 3 matches with me. This is a core group of players that can have enormous historical success for us by the time their careers are over. Like, I think they're all young enough to have 3 or 4 World Cups in their future. And I think by the time we get to the end of that run, I think we're going to look back and say, wow, what a special time to be a soccer fan in America. But what's realistic for right now, for 2022? The reality is, I think that the best we should hope for would be to get out of the group stage. If we can just advance out of these, if we can get 4 points out of these first 3 matches, a win and a draw, and get to the round of 16, that would be a successful tournament. That would be something we can build on. That would be encouraging. I will be discouraged and disappointed if we don't make it out of the group. We are good enough to make it past our group opponents of Wales, England, and Iran. We can also lay eggs with all of them and get embarrassed and make a very early exit. But I am going to expect us to make it out of the group. And if we get it to the round of 16, call that a win. To get to the quarterfinals for where they are right now, and I think is probably dreaming a little big. I hope they surprise me. Hope they surprise everyone else and make a deep run. But I think if we can just get out of the group stage and get to the round of 16, then we'll call that a good tournament. What's interesting is we're looking for a little revenge against Iran. They were in our group in 1998. They beat us, and not only did they beat us, we finished dead last in the entire field in 1998. So it'd be really sweet to be able to get a victory against them. And against England, we are undefeated in World Cup play with England. We have played them a grand total of 2 times. We beat them in 1950, like I mentioned. In 2010, they were also in our group, and we played them to a draw and ended up winning the group. So England may have a little bit of chip on their shoulder when they come to play us, but also we're not going to be intimidated. We know we can take them. We can compete with them. We belong in the same field. Now, will we see success? Who knows? I do believe this very first match against Wales is critical. It will largely define our percentage chances of having a successful tournament. It all starts on day one. Don't get fooled by the round robin thing of the group stage. The every single this very first game is critical. We need these points, and the thing is, Wales feels exactly the same way. Because you look at the group and you go, well, England's going to finish top. Iran's probably going to finish at the bottom. Who's going to get that second spot? You know, only England and one other team are going to advance. So the United States and Wales are looking at each other like whoever can get points off the other one is the one that's probably going to advance. So we have a lot on the line, high stakes with the very first match. And tomorrow night, I'm going to try to do one more video before that match kicks off. And in that, I'm going to try to break down a little bit of what to expect to see in United States versus Wales, and also the tactics at play and the matchups at play and how that might affect our starting lineup choices. So, but I'll save that for tomorrow's video. In the meantime, watch Qatar and Ecuador with me on Sunday morning. Enjoy this World Cup with me, and I'll talk to you next time.